Our weekly immigration news roundup is brought to you by the law firm of Figueroa and Associates. For a consultation on any immigration or legal matter, please call 855-768-8845. That's 855-768-8845. For full stories and more immigration news, visit www.theimmigrantsjournal.com. That's www.theimmigrantsjournal.com.
Hello, my name is Mary Campbell, legal assistant at the law firm of Figueroa and Associates, and your presenter with this week's immigration news. We begin with ICE subjected immigrants in detention to unnecessary surgeries. Report finds the Office of Inspector General for the U.S. Department of Homeland Security, OIG, published a report last month, finding that nearly one-third of medical procedures performed on immigrants in U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement ICE custody were not properly authorized. The report found that ICE improperly authorized 32% of major surgeries performed on individuals in ICE detention without having gone through the proper procedure first. Due to ICE's improper authorization, the OIG audit could not verify whether the surgeries were medically necessary. The report also suggests that the forced hysterectomies performed by medical staff to women detained at the Irwin Detention Center in Georgia were not isolated incidents. Senate deal would significantly transform border policy. The Emergency National Security Supplemental Appropriations Act, 2024, was released on February 4. For months, a bipartisan group of senators negotiated the compromise bill, which proposes significant changes to asylum and border policy to release billions in foreign military aid. The $118 billion bill would provide the president a new emergency expulsion authority that would be triggered upon a certain number of apprehensions at the border, increase the threshold for screening potential asylum seekers, and create a new protection process devoid of judicial review. The proposal also includes positive measures like a pathway to citizenship for Afghan allies, 50,000 more green cards per year, and protections for the dependent children of H-1B holders. The Biden administration is considering executive action to deter illegal migration at the southern border. The Biden administration is considering taking executive action to deter illegal migration across the southern border, according to two U.S. officials. As passing legislation on border security in Congress appears unlikely, the plans under consideration signal that the White House wants to take action before numbers at the border, which have dropped in the past month, rise again as expected. The plans have been under consideration for months, the official said. In December, as Congress prepared to leave town for the holidays with no border solution, illegal crossings of the southwest border hit records at more than 10,000 per day. A shortage of immigration lawyers is another barrier to integration for immigrants. Immigrants are now far more likely to face the complexities of the immigration court system alone, without an attorney. As of December 2023, only 30% of immigrants with pending cases have secured representation, down from 65% just 4 years ago. This new data comes from Syracuse University's Transactional Records Access Clearinghouse, TRAC. On January 24, TRAC published data showing that representation rates at U.S. immigration courts have decreased significantly. These trends highlight concerns about migrants' ability to obtain an attorney to navigate our immigration system. Meanwhile, in New York, calls for NYC to resume cooperation with ICE after attack on NYPD officers by group in Times Square. There are calls for New York City to resume cooperation with Immigration and Customs Enforcement, ICE. This comes as Manhattan District Attorney Alvin Bragg faces criticism for his handling of the beating of two NYPD officers in Times Square, allegedly at the hands of migrants. Some lawmakers argue the attack on the two NYPD officers is just the latest example of why there needs to be a working relationship between federal immigration officials and the city. Speaking at a Monday news conference, Mayor Eric Adams said IC is able to operate in the city, even without cooperation of the city government. but he added migrants found guilty of violent crimes should be deported. The relationship between ICE and New York City has been limited since 2014, when then-Mayor Bill de Blasio signed a law that limited the cooperation. 4 reported migrants who attacked NYPD officers have not been arrested in Arizona, officials say. The people in ICE custody do not match the identities or names of those involved in the New York attack, 3 senior law enforcement officials said. On Tuesday evening, a spokesperson for ICE said the agency had apprehended 4 people believed to be involved in the attack. In other news, Trump pushes immigration conspiracy theories and mass deportations. Former President Donald Trump, in an interview that aired on Fox News on Sunday, suggested falsely that Latin American governments were picking the citizens they didn't want and shipping them to the U.S. border, resurrecting a claim that was central to his 2016 campaign. He also accused the Chinese Communist Party, without providing any evidence, of orchestrating illegal immigration into the United States and said he believed China would try to interfere in the presidential election, adding that he liked President Xi Jinping a lot. Trump also spoke approvingly, as he has before, of the military-style mass deportation of Mexican immigrants under President Dwight D. Eisenhower. Mass deportations are part of an extreme expansion of the anti-immigration policy that Trump is planning if he is elected again. DACA recipients bolster Social Security and Medicare. DACA recipients are deeply embedded in the fabric of American society, as spouses and parents of U.S. citizens, as active community members, and as workers and entrepreneurs benefiting local and national economies. The payroll tax contributions of DACA recipients strengthen Social Security and Medicare for many Americans. As DACA recipients work and earn nearly $27.9 billion in annual wages as both employees and employers, they pay federal, state, and local taxes and contribute nearly $2.1 billion to Social Security and Medicare, despite not being eligible for these benefits under current law. Finally, on live TV, Guardian Angels rough up a man in Times Square, then misidentify him as a migrant. Members of the Guardian Angels roughed up a man during a live interview on Fox News Tuesday night, then misidentified him as a migrant. In a primetime segment meant to highlight disorder and crime caused by new arrivals to New York City, the peculiar altercation played out as Curtis Sliwa, founder of the Anti-Crime Patrol Group, was speaking to Sean Hannity from Times Square, flanked by volunteers in their signature red berets and bomber jackets. The man is not a migrant, but a New Yorker from the Bronx, police said Wednesday afternoon. Though Sliwa claimed the man had been caught shoplifting, police provided no evidence to support the allegation. Thank you.
Our weekly immigration news roundup is brought to you by the law firm of Figueroa & Associates. For consultation on any immigration or legal matter, please call 855-768-8845. That's 855-768-8845. For full stories and more immigration news, visit www.theimmigrantsjournal.com. That's www.theimmigrantsjournal.com.